Alright, I am back again with another video on my Nikon rangefinders, and right here you have a set you might be familiar with, the Nikon S4 with a 28mm f3.5 lens and the Nikon viewfinder, which is kind of necessary because the finder on the S4 can technically be about as wide as a 35 even though it's not really marked, so it is important to have an external viewfinder when you're using the 28mm lens. And that's something I was going to talk about, is just the 28mm lens and how I use mine. A friend of mine was asking, so I thought I'd put together this quick video and do a little kind of explanation and comparison about the 28mm lens and a little bit on why I like it. This is my normal setup I've had for quite a while and used a lot. I really like it. It's not perfect. You know, the finder right here is a tunnel finder, so essentially you just see a little view that's roughly 28mm. It doesn't have any parallax correction. You actually have to turn this knob on the back to kind of do parallax correction, which I don't love, but you know, it does look pretty cool, so I can kind of forgive it some. And I've been using this one for a long time, but I also got this one more recently, which is a black 28mm lens. This is a later build. I don't know, I think optically they're identical. I haven't spotted a difference yet, but technically there might be a difference. The main thing is it's painted black, where the earlier ones are chrome plated, and strangely that makes it a whole lot lighter. It weighs, you can feel, it's like probably an ounce or two less, just because the chrome plating on here was so thick and so heavy. So if you are looking for a super lightweight kit, I guess that's something to keep in mind, that the black lenses are generally lighter than the chrome ones. Now granted, a lot of them, like the 28s especially, the black ones do seem to be rarer, and especially with the 85s. The chrome 85s are pretty common, and the black ones are very rare. But anyways, I've been using this, and you'll notice there's sort of a little a thing around the edge. This is actually sort of a grip. I don't know exactly what you'd call it, a focus throw thing that came off of the 35mm Voigtlander lens that I was not a big fan of. It did fit on here, and I kind of like the fact it gave it a little bit more purchase when you're focusing. So I put it on the black one, and I've had it there for a while, and I've kind of enjoyed using it. And for the black lens, I normally have it on this camera. Let me go ahead and this is a Nikon S2. It's black. It is a repaint, unfortunately. I got it pretty cheap. It was probably about as much as you normally pay for a black dial S2, not a black repaint, or definitely not an original black one. The whole set's black. I kind of like that. The camera, the lens, and the viewfinder. The viewfinder, though, is an Avanon 28mm finder, and it is a bright line finder, so it has a much wider field of view. It's probably something more like 20, I'd say even wider than 24, like 22, 20-ish millimeters, and it has sort of frame lines drawn into the middle. And they're a little bit dim, but they do work, and it has sort of parallax correction marks at the top and bottom, so you don't have to move it. It's just a solid piece that sits on the camera. And I really like that. It makes it a lot easier to use, and I just find it to be a lot more convenient. Now granted, I don't think these viewfinders are very common, but I know there are some alternatives. There is a Voigtlander alternative that's pretty comparable, but they're pretty expensive. And of course there's the Leica ones, which are probably the best, but by far the most expensive. So I've been using both of these cameras kind of in concert with pretty much the same lens on them, and I've really enjoyed them. I always like a 28. I like a 28 because I feel like it helps you get the whole scene. You don't really miss much. And I know some people will say, well, it's too wide, you can't do this and you can't do that. And I see that's kind of nonsense. You can get closer if you want to do something that's more like portrait work or close-up work. The one downside being with these Nikon rangefinders is you have to keep in mind they have the minimum focusing distance of about 3 feet. So if you try to take a photo of something that's about a foot or two away, you're just never going to be able to get it in focus. That is the one big downside I've found. But personally, I think the lenses are, I don't know what the term would be, but they're sharp enough, I guess, and just have a deep enough depth of field that you don't have to be super accurate with the focus. And I have found that if you get it close, and especially if you shoot close down like f11, f16, somewhere in that range, focus is almost never an issue, except maybe when you get like really, really close to stuff, which again, you'd have to get absurdly close for that to really be an issue. And I've been using both of these, and I've really enjoyed it. You can even see I kind of picked up a little case and an extra strap for the S2 here. I've been using this one quite a lot, and I like it. And the S2 was the last Nikon I picked up. And I was kind of surprised people fell in love with it so much. I always figured the SP was the best one, but I can kind of understand why people like the S2 so much. It has some imperfections. I'm not a huge fan of the double dial there, but I do like the viewfinder, and I find it easy to use. It's got a really nice rangefinder patch. I have 2 of them now, and both of them have a really nice rangefinder patch and are just nice and easy to use. I haven't really tried using this little flash thing over here yet. I doubt I will, but you know, maybe someday, we'll see. So that's pretty much it. Just a short little video on my 28mm lenses, my two nearly identical lenses on very similar cameras with external finders. But yeah, these are probably some of my favorites. You saw the video a while ago with this exact setup saying this is the perfect camera for me. If this is the perfect camera, then this is a very close second, or a solid replacement in a pinch. That's all for now. Tune in next time, and thanks for watching.